Asshai-by-the-Shadow is like if Halloweentown had a baby with Amsterdam, and then that baby got hit by a nuclear bomb. Westeros and the rest of Essos have nothing on Asshai, so please allow me to explain to you why this town is scary as shit. First of all, look at it. Look at this ooky spooky bullshit. Who wants to live here? And the answer is not very many people. Because the first thing to know about Asshai is it is huge. It is a huge ancient city. They do not know who built it. Even like the Asshai, the people who live there, they have no idea. But it is giant, and despite the fact that it is giant, it is not heavily populated. The book says that it is as populated as like a good-sized market town, despite being so huge that you could fit all of King's Landing, Old Town, Karth, and I think they said Volantis within the walls of the city. So it's that big, yet the population is that of like a good-sized market town. Like, oh, there are not a lot of people here. There's another detail that says like at night, if you're like walking through it, only every like 10th home or space is lit, meaning, you know, most of this is like deserted and empty. And that makes sense because for all intents and purposes, Asshai should not be livable. Nothing grows in Asshai. Asshai has to have all of its food and fresh water basically shipped in through traders who are, you know, sailing by. Now, you would think that that is very expensive to do, but the one thing that Asshai apparently seems to have a lot of is like rare gemstones and gold and shit like that. So they're more than willing to part with it so that they can, you know, get food and water. Now, you might be asking, why can't they, you know, have food and water already there? Like, what about it is causing it, you know, besides just the general aesthetic? Well, the first reason is the river that goes by Asshai, which is called the Ash, as you can see depicted here, is a somewhat polluted river, or at least, you know, seemingly polluted. During the day, the ash is said to be like pitch black, and then at night, there's like phosphorescence, and it glows green, because, you know, nothing says safe to drink like glowing green water. Okay, well, if, you know, the water's not drinkable, is there any like food around? Well, sure, as long as you don't mind if like the fish that we get from the river have 2 heads instead of 1. You might think I'm joking, but I'm not really. The fish that, you know, live in the ash, they are all said to be blind and deformed, and the only people who are stupid enough to eat them are fools, literal idiots, or Shadowbinders who aren't afraid of anything. Okay, so seafood is out of the question, but is there anything that like grows here? Yeah, literally one thing, and that is ghost grass. If you don't remember, ghost grass is what the Dothraki believe will one day basically cover the world and kill everyone, because it is a grass that you can't eat, you can't do anything with it. It's an invasive species that grows everywhere and kills whatever's there, and then, you know, everyone starves to death. So yeah, that's what you can grow in Asshai. Ain't that nice? You can see here in this map, which is, you know, at the very edge of the world, because Asshai is at like the easternmost edge of the known world, the very, very southeastern corner of Essos. But you can see Asshai, you know, at the very, very tip of the continent, and then all around it you can see where it says ghost grass on either side. So yeah, it's ghost grass and a poison river. That's all that Asshai has. Asshai also happens to be by the 4th continent on this planet, which is Ulthos. And so let this video kind of double as the Ulthos video, and let me explain all that we know about it. Ulthos is there and it exists. Thank you. Back to Asshai though. At this point we've established that no food grows here, the river is poison, it looks like this. So what sorts of people actually want to live here? The scariest magic users in the world. And that's because Asshai does not discriminate on what kind of magic you can practice here. You can follow basically any religion, you can follow and do whatever sorts of dark magic, fucked up magic you want to do, and it's allowed, it's permissible here. They're like all cool and all for it. And so that leads to Asshai being this like hotbed of like weird arcane knowledge and dark shit, really dark shit. Speaking of which, the darkest of the dark shits, there are the Shadowbinders. The Shadowbinders are like the scariest of the scary magic users who all live in Asshai because, you know, their powers are terrifying. I don't know what to tell you. Melisandre is a Shadowbinder. That is her like ability to birth those like shadow children is part of this art, if you want to call it that, this skill set. So Shadowbinders are able to, you know, like conjure and bind shadows to do their bidding. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. They're scary. Though, what are Shadowbinders scared of? Welcome to Stygai. Stygai is nicknamed the Corpse City. It is a city near Asshai that the Shadowbinders are purportedly really afraid of. We don't know a lot about it. It's another one of these like kind of ancient structures. Don't know who built it. And yeah, Shadowbinders are scared. For some context, here is Asshai on the corner, and then if you follow the Ash River up, there you find Stygai. It is in the middle of this mountain range, and it is said that it gets absolutely no sunlight except for at literal noon, or when the sun is at the very zenith right above the city. That is when it gets some sunlight. Otherwise, the mountains keep it in perpetual darkness. Yay! Another reason to be kind of scared of Stygai, though, is the route there, where the ash is, making its way through the mountains. That whole area is supposed to be very terrifying. It's said that, in the caves along it, there are all manner of demons and possible dragons, all just hiding out and ready to kill you. Anyway, back to Asshai once again, though. So what does it all matter? Why do we care? Well, we've talked about Melisandre from here, so a lot of the abilities that we see her employ are abilities that she learned in Asshai, so there is that. But the other, big and important person from Asshai is Quaithe. Quaithe over here is kind of more important to the books than she ever was to the TV show. The TV show kind of forgot that she existed. But if you'll remember Quaithe from the show, she was in the second season in Qarth, where, she's spoken riddles to Dany and gave her all this, mysterious mumbo-jumbo, which, again, the show didn't care about. But in the books, there might be something to it. Because Quaithe in the books actually appears before Dany multiple times. She does so in Book 2, Clash of Kings, when they're in Qarth. But then when Dany's in Meereen for the Dance with Dragons, Quaithe appears again and gives her, lots of riddles. I won't tell you the big one about all the people to be worried about, but something that Quaithe keeps telling Dany is that she needs to go to Asshai. She keeps telling Dany that Dany needs to pass under the shadow. And then along with that, she keeps, again, when speaking in riddles, she keeps saying, to go west, you will need to go east. Now, what this means, personally, I don't know. But a lot of people theorize that Dany is basically going to have to go to Asshai before she can get to Westeros, and that is somehow going to be very influential on whatever her journey is going to be. If I have to guess, one of the big things that people say about Asshai is that because there is all of this knowledge, especially magical knowledge, that there's going to be a lot of important information about dragons there, and Dany will basically need to go there to learn some important information about the dragons, maybe how to train them, how to control them, or at least how to direct them so that she can communicate. Because remember, a lot of the knowledge of dragon riders has been lost by the time, Dany is there. Dany doesn't have the benefit of, the dragon trainers that we see in House of the Dragon, or just, the basic knowledge that the Targaryens used to have before all the dragons died out. But while we don't know if Dany will actually end up getting to go to Asshai, I kind of hope she does, because I want to go to crazy, spooky Halloweentown. Okay, goodbye.